Hi everyone, it's Roberta. The other day I had made some painty flowers like these, and it was just really simple. It was just an orange and a pink color that I mixed together, and then I just did some squiggle lines. And I had done this other page and had done the same thing except not mixing the colors. I painted a solid and then a lighter color in the center. And then sitting outside, I played around a little bit more. I even used some silver, mixed a couple colors, did more than one color. This one has the black, the orange, the peach, and the silver. But today I want to do the other kind. I just want to try to make something a little bit different. And I don't have sponge daubers, so I just cut up a whole sponge and made, I think I cut it into 5 strips. Let's see. No, 4 strips, and each strip I cut into half. So each strip I was able to get 2, and then I cut the edges off, and then I tried to round it. So I'm going to try to use these, one for each color that I'm going to be doing. And it doesn't really matter the size of the sponge, because when I dip in, I'm just going to go around anyway. And I like to try to use as much of my paper as I can. So I am going to the edges, and I'll be doing 2 each in each row, so I can get as much as I can from each bit. Not that I'm short on book paper, because I can get books from the library for free or really cheap, like maybe 10 cents, 50 cents. I actually haven't bought anything from the library. What I've done is all the books that I read, I do that reading program, and then you get points for the books that you read. So you get a little card, and then you can redeem it. It's counted as $1. I don't know if this color is going to be enough of a contrast for this one, so I'm just going to try it and see. There's always more paint inside the little sponge than what we see. And put this over here to dry. Because there is still some paint in this one, I do want to use it, lay down some paint, and then I'll put other colors over it, build it up in layers, and make flowers out of that too. I'm going to set that one off to the side and try to wash it off with my fingers so I don't spread it. We'll add another paper. That'll dry. Okay. I'm going to go with these 2 purples. This one is Concord Grape. It's a new color for me. I haven't used this one. This one also, Wintergreen, was a new one. I haven't used that before. I have birds out in my garden, and they're actually pulling up my sprouts. I have cucumber, watermelon, zucchini, pumpkin, I think I listed 4. Cucumber, zucchini, pumpkin, and watermelon. And they're pulling them up as they're looking for, I guess, worms or bugs in my soil. I'm a little bit frustrated with them because it took me a lot of work, about a month of work, to get my garden ready, because the garden, it's about 8 foot by 8 foot. I live in an apartment, so it's just that little bit of land right in front of my door. Well, not really in front of my door, but off to the side of the sidewalk from the front of my door. And all that dirt, it had plastic over it, and then rocks. I guess they were doing like a rock garden, so they would not have to worry about any weeds and doing any weeding or anything. And what it does is I guess it's been that way 10 years or more. I mean, these apartments are from like the 60s, so no telling how long. But the plastic with the rocks over it, it makes it condense all the dirt underneath, especially when it rains and all the weight just keeps pressing and pressing and pressing. And these really use a lot of paint. I never realized how much paint they use. I guess because I haven't done such big ones before. And I'm hoping to really like these big ones. And I like the texture that I'm getting with the sponge. But all the dirt under the rocks is not really dirt. It is clay. And it is packed. And clay is very hard to grow things in. And it's really hard to even just dig up to plant anything. That's not that pretty yet, but we'll see what that looks like in a little bit. Let me do a little bit more. There's still actually more in here. But it took me, like I said, about a month to dig it up. And I have a bad back, fibro, arthritis, other things going on, so I could only do a little bit at a time. So I'd go out a couple of times in the day and work on it, then come back in and rest. And I was so excited. About a week and a half ago, I was finally able to get stuff planted out there. And now the birds are pulling them up. When I didn't put that in there, and I wasn't meaning to. I meant to use it with this other purple. It's alright, I can use this one with the pink. The colors are really close together. I also planted some tomato plants. I have an okra that I bought. It had about 4, but most of them are dying off. The one is still going pretty good. So I'm hoping to at least get 1 okra. Then I'll go back and buy some more when I get a chance to get back to the store, if they have any more. If not, I'll buy some seed. I like some fried okra. I remember when I was first introduced to it, I was totally grossed out because the inside of it is a very slimy, it's a slimy vegetable. But it's really good if it is sliced up and coated in cornmeal and flour, salt and pepper, and fried up in some bacon grease, nice and crispy. And I know a lot of people like it in gumbo. and it's not crispy in there. It's basically a liquid and a little bit slimy, but if you grow up on that stuff, you tend to like it. So I need to do the pink one now. So that's what I have growing in the garden. Watermelon, although they're just only now sprouting. Watermelon, zucchini, cucumber, and pumpkin. And zucchini and pumpkin are the biggest plants, not watermelon. The watermelon seed has a tiny seed and the plant is coming up tiny. It's the zucchini. It may be the type of zucchini, but it's coming up really big, almost as big as a watermelon. The watermelon, when it first comes up and the two leaves open up, it's like this wide. They're as big as my thumb, and so's the zucchini one, whereas the watermelon ones are no bigger than my little fingernail. Really tiny. And those are the things that the birds out there are pecking at and pulling up, killing off. And I know they're not doing it, and I enjoy the birds, so I'm trying not to be too upset with them. But I'm trying to grow some healthy food, so I might need to figure out a way to put a fake owl or a tiny scarecrow out there to make them afraid to get into that garden so that I can keep my goodies growing. I love to watch the birds. I love to listen to them. I have put lots of food out. Every day I put a lot of food out there for them, but not in my garden. And I guess they're going in there because I dug it up. And so that makes them check that soil out for the bugs that would be close to the top. So I understand why they're doing it. I just don't want to lose my potential for some fresh fruits and veggies. I have some strawberry out there too, but it was an actual strawberry peel with seeds, and so I'm hoping as it dries up and dies that it'll try to sprout some of those seeds. I don't know, but we'll see. I want to add some of this to one of these, just because there's extra pink. Just because, just to see how they turn out. You never really know till you try it. I mean, it's just paper and paint, right? And this has both shades of the pink, the darker and the lighter one. And into the cup. There are a lot of people on Facebook that are homesteaders, and there is a pumpkin growing contest. So that's one reason why I want the birds to leave my pumpkin alone. I want to enter any pumpkins that do grow into that contest. I'm quite certain that I won't win. That's not the purpose of the entering in. It's just to be a participant, just to join in the fun. And then, of course, the seeds were also a giveaway prize that I'd won from one of the homesteaders, so it'd really be awesome just for them to see the pumpkin that grew from the seeds that were a giveaway prize. I love this color. This is Poppy. It's a really pretty, rich, orangish red color. Just so bright. Just love it. Isn't that beautiful? Just love this color. It actually kind of reminds me of the Tutti Frutti color of Catherine Pooler's ink. I'm going to go with Tropical Orange, which is a lighter shade of orange. It's a pastel orange, basically. Peach. I'm not wanting to turn the paper, so I'm trying to cheat. See if I can get some curvy swipes by just rotating my wrist in the sponge. I like a little dab in the middle, then I'll probably just go over that with some black in the center. I don't want to do it on that one. I'm just going to go ahead and pounce it out and make some more flowers. That darker orange is starting to come through. And we're done with that. And those other ones are sitting over there. Hopefully they'll be dry by the time I get done with these. Don't think I did this one. I want to try two colors that you wouldn't think go together. I just want to do it just for fun. Let me get this orange up. I just dip my towel in the water, use the wet part and wash it up. Like I said, this thing hasn't been washed probably in 6 months, and I hand wash it and hang it out to dry, so just keep using it over and over. I love this color of purple. It's called Wild Iris. It's this reddish purple. I just love how pretty it is. Supposed to be getting another thunderstorm It's supposed to be sometime around 7 tonight. It hasn't happened yet. We did get a couple yesterday, early morning hours while I was still in bed, but woke up and listened to it and watched it for a little while. I did not know that it was leaking from my kitchen ceiling. Didn't hear it drip, drip, drip. And I went back to sleep after I was listening to and watching the storm. And then, I guess around 10-ish, after I got some things done, I decided to go into the kitchen, get my coffee going, and start making breakfast. Stepped into a puddle of water, and I was like, what in the world? I turned the light on and I could see that it was the ceiling that had leaked again, which my ceiling has been doing that, and they can't figure out why. And they tell me it's coming from the vent up on the roof, and that they don't know why it does it, because sometimes it'll leak in and other times it won't. And I told them it doesn't really matter to me because it's not damaging any of my property. Of course, I'm concerned about it because I don't want it damaging the apartment. Oh, those two are very pretty together. Of course, it's actually 3 because you can see that wild iris right there. And this color is called Blue Plum, a bluish purple. It's kind of like a... I know the color, I was just going to say it, and it just totally slipped my mind. One of my favorite colors of blue. Purplish blue. I think I'll just do one of these. I don't think it'll really be all that pretty with it. Try this. Mixing and blending some of them, just for fun. I like those two together. Periwinkle. That's the name that I was trying to think of. I love periwinkle. I painted it in my bedroom back in California. I painted it periwinkle. And then after I painted it, the day that my bed was supposed to be being brought in, an interesting event occurred. We raised iguanas, and one of them, his name was Lazarus. He had almost died, and we were able to save him, and so I named him Lazarus because of the Jesus, one of Jesus' best friends in the Old Testament in the town of Bethany was a man named Lazarus, and it was Martha and Mary's brother. And anyway, I was holding Lazarus in my lap, sitting on the carpet in my bedroom, waiting for the guys to come. And I don't remember if I was feeding him or if I was just playing with him. And he was about 2.5, 3 feet big. He wasn't like a little baby iguana. But what happened was he accidentally bit me. And when he bit me, I pulled my thumb out and shook my hand violently because it hurt. Unbeknownst to me, blood splattering all over the place. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to clean up. These guys are going to be bringing in my mattress and see all this blood everywhere, and they're going to think I've killed somebody, and that's why I painted the walls, and the carpet's all new, and I'm getting new furniture, so I had to clean all that up. It was a very interesting day. And we raised about 7 iguanas at the same time. We had rescued a bunch of them. We had some little ones, and then our biggest one was Iggy, and she was 4.5 feet long, and we actually potty trained her. And the way we did that was we would put her in the bathtub with warm water, with her tail and the part of her body where her vent is, and the vent is simply where they go to the bathroom from. And we made sure that part was under the faucet where the water was coming down, hitting the tub. And because she was there, it was hitting her there, and so that sensation with the warm water would make her go to the bathroom. And we found out how to do that totally by accident. And once we figured out that we could potty train her doing that, we did. And she never had to be in her, it was like 5.5 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot acrylic aquarium that was special made for her. She never had to be in that again. From that point on, she just was in the house or our apartment, wherever she wanted to be, and then she would sleep with my son. She liked to sleep with her nose in his armpit because it was all nice and warm, and then she'd be laid up against his side or against his back, depending on how he was laying. That was her favorite place to sleep. And she was a very social, very friendly, very happy iguana. I used to take her to the public schools that I worked at and do show and tell with her. Kids just adored her. All the teachers liked her except for one, and this teacher was being silly, and she called her Icky instead of Iggy, which, that was kind of funny. And we would also take Iggy out into public, into stores or public events, and people would always come up and ask questions, and we would teach them about the right way to take care of an iguana, the heating, the specific lighting that you need, the type of food. You can't just feed them lettuce or spinach. There's just not enough nutrient in it. They'll end up starving the lizard. A lot of people don't know that. They think they're feeding them really good food by giving them spinach, and it's like they're starving to death because they just don't have enough nutrient. They also have to have a certain type of light. They get vitamin D from the sun, and if you don't get the right kind of light for them, then their bones will get really soft and brittle, and they'll die. Okay, everybody, I'm back. These are dry. These papers not all the way dry. I did spend some time drying them a little bit. I think this one's really pretty. It's got the purple, green, yellow, and orange in there. And then, of course, I really like that one. And the other ones have lighter shades, but I'm going to do layers of colors over time. I don't have that many markers of the black, not even the Sharpies. And then the nano liners, they quit working on me. And these are dry, but whenever you're using anything like this, the nib, when it's wet, kind of reactivates some of that pigment in watercolor and paint And so it can, or even glue or Mod Podge, and it can make it seal up so that it doesn't work anymore. This fingernail always splits right down the middle, and just had to peel it off because it started coming off. So I'm going to try to do some lines on this one to try to make a flower. Of course, I think I want to use the thicker. This one is called a painter's pen opaque paint marker, one I got at Walmart. You shake it up, and of course this always wants to come off when I'm just trying to take the cap off. And then you're supposed to hold it down for the ink to come through, which it's doing. So let's see. And these are not supposed to have perfect outlines at all. Okay, there's one. I also have the paint, so I think I'll try doing some tinters of paint. And now that is getting everywhere right now. Let me put this somewhere so it doesn't continue spreading. Move these out so they don't get messed up. Okay, so on these, I'll do a little bit of black out here off to the side, a little bit of the ivory, because I'm really not sure which one I would want to use. A little bit of the white. And I cut down 2 green sponges. The smaller one would be for this size, and the bigger one would be for the bigger ones that I did. There's just not that same kind of punch you get when you use the black paint. And it doesn't matter if the ink gets on the page when it's touching it. That's alright with me. And I do like the texture that I get with the sponge. I just want to do a little bit of each with the colors. Now that already has the yellow. I think I'll do that off-white, the ivory one. Okay, so now for the black. And this does have white, so it's not a perfect black color. This color is called Jet Black. With the Apple Barrel, they have the flat color and then the gloss, and the gloss costs twice as much. They're almost $1. These are 50 cents each. But they don't have the same exact colors in the flat and the gloss. I just find that really strange that they don't. this is one I think it'll really that makes it look like a poppy. They're really pretty poppy flowers that are very common in California. Of course, pink and black and pink and white and black, always a great hit. We have extra paint, so we got to do something with it, right? Okay. I like the colors. I think I'll like them better after I get more lines on them. This one did get some of that black from one of the other ones, so I'm just going to spread it out. Get some interesting colors by mixing and blending. Little squirts of it coming out. I don't like that one. That's okay because I can go over it. This really wasn't the color I had planned on using, but I can go over it with white or black. It actually makes it look almost like a green color. Okay, I'm going to wash this out. My water is now gray. Gray water. People with RVs would know what that is. Okay. When I want something to dry pretty quick, I try to put it in a towel and twist it in opposite directions to try to squeeze the water out. So I need more white. And I want to do some of the ivory. I'm trying to think about it a little bit instead of just doing it, because I do want to make them where they're pretty, where I like them. Don't ask me what I did there. I tried something and I didn't like it, so then I just made a big mess. But it'll turn out pretty. I will work on it until it does, even if I have to keep painting over it. I don't give up on stuff. Now Now this is going to be too light, although it's pulling in some of that black. I can see it on there. Get another page. Okay. I think I'll like those the way they are. This one I want to add black to that one too. But not with it still wet. I don't like the white one, and I really like the way the sponge look is looking on these. I'm not liking the white one or the gray. I like those a lot better. Much better. Although I do believe that I would have liked better to have used the gloss, because this does dry flat, so it's not as pretty. The gloss leaves a sheen, which is really pretty. I just really like the pink and the black. I'm trying to get more of the little spidery lines, and that's just grotesque. That definitely has to be. That one too. I like it better like that. And then that yellow one. Don't like that at all. Alrighty. So I'm going to let those dry, and then I'll be back again.